What's up? Welcome back. All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the road trip. All right, man. Shalom, shalom, peace and blessings to each and every single one of you, Akeem, Akatim, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, aunties, and uncles, man. That's right. Grandmas and grandpas, everybody, man. Shalom, peace and blessings to everybody. So, look, man. All praises to the Most High. All praises to Yahweh. Glory to Yahweh Shah. And honors to the Ruach HaKodesh. And my love and my respect goes out to each and every single one of y'all road trippers, kingdom builders. That's right. Okay. So here we are. Where we at? Book of Daniel, chapter 3. All right. This one, 2.5 pages. All right. You can get your scrolls out. You can follow along with me right now if you'd like to. If not, then we'll go ahead and just push along. All right. You got a few moments, but we'll go ahead and get started now. All right. Book of Daniel, chapter 3. Let's begin.
Take them back.
Chapter 3, and it reads, Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image of Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Then the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image of Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image of Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Okay. Then an herald cried aloud, To you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of this cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And whoso falleth not down and worship shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Therefore, at that time, when all the people heard that sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and all the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Wherefore, at that time, certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. Reference Daniel 6 and 12. Verse 9. They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Reference Daniel 2 and 49. 13, and it reads, Then Nebuchadnezzar in his rage and fury commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake, and he said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now, if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that Elohim that shall deliver you out of my hands? Reference Luke 13 and 9. 16. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our Elohim who we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy Elohim, thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar was full of fire, Then Nebuchadnezzar, full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should be heat up the furnace 7 times more than was wont to be heated. Golly, man, they could have made that one better. They could have worded that better. Verse 20, and it reads, and he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonied, and rose up in haste, and spake, and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of this fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king, true. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the Son of the Most High. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High Elohim, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. And the priests, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was a hair of their head singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the Elohim of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies, that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own Elohim. Therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the Elohim of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other Elohim that can deliver after this sort. Reference Daniel 6 and 26. Verse 30 to the door. Let's finish it up. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. And that's the end of 3. That's the end of 3. All right, man. That's a legendary story right there, man. It's a pleasure to read that for y'all, man. All right. I remember, kind of off bar. I remember growing up as a little boy. Remember when I was still in, Christianity, when I was still going to church, right? That's back in the day. I remember going to Sunday school and hearing this story, man. And it always, fascinated me. You know what I mean? And to hear about, the 4th one, in the fire with them. And knowing that is, the angel of the Most High. Well, we know who that is, that's, the order of Melchizedek. That's Yahweh Shai. That was Yahweh Shai. We know who that was. But back then, I didn't know. I was probably 6 years old, 7 years old. But I remember the story. And I always remembered the names, because the names were so, unique. You know what I mean? So it always kind of stuck with me. So, kind of legendary story for me. You know what I mean? Just like, Daniel in the Lion's Den. That's another legendary story for me, just like Noah's Ark, just those are like those Sunday school stories, growing up, but it's deep, it's a lot deeper than that. They don't really get into that when you're a kid, and even they don't get into that now if you're a Christian. They don't even get deeper than the surface. But it's just it was a pleasure to read that for y'all, man. And hey, I'm gonna stop yapping. Shalom, shalom, peace and blessings. Thanks for riding along with me on this one, family and friends. This was Daniel chapter 3, and we're gonna name this one the fiery furnace. Perfect. That's it. Sweet and simple. I'll see you guys on chapter 4. All right. One love, man. Shalom, shalom, peace and blessings. All praises to the Most High. That's right. Yeah.